Welcome to Gran Turismo 5 Specialtatin. Today we're featuring Dirty Shuffle Racing. That will literally never be said for any game in the history of time ever again. But anyway, Dirty Shuffle Racing at Circuit de la Sarthe, aka probably the most popular form of shuffle racing in Gran Turismo 5. Shuffle racing was probably the most prominent community for dirty drivers on the average. Not meaning that that's what the majority of dirty drivers did, but what that does mean is that probably the majority of people that did shuffle racing actually did dirty shuffle racing. I don't even think that's an over-exaggeration. And, well, I was part of that group. And in this view, you can't see anything. Ah, the joys of dirty racing. You can cut the track whenever you want. And you can beat up on unlucky people who get Miras. Miras had a top speed of about 170, if I remember correctly. Circuit de la Sarthe, you can go well over 200, even in stock cars, which shuffle racing is. I can prove to you, because I'm driving a yellow Viper for this. Granted, if I could pick in a race like this, I'd pick a Viper or a Ram. Probably a Ram, actually. Let's just say my second choice would be a Viper, but I would not ever paint it yellow. Granted, with the best car that yellow would look good on is a Viper, but yellow still doesn't exactly look great on anything. But anyway, I'm pretty much already almost in a battle for the lead. This is going pretty well. Well, I tried. But here's a feature of Gran Turismo 5. You can just go right up to the driver you want to see, and you don't have to scroll through one at a time. You can just do this, and then you can go down to like that driver, and then seamlessly you just go back up to first. Why that's just not a thing they continue with, I don't know. Now you have to press R2 to even activate a thing to switch between drivers, and you can only switch between one driver at a time, and you can't like flip-flop between first and eighth, and yeah, the good old days, folks. Good old days. The main reason I'm doing a Specialtatin, though, is because of shuffle racing. That's the best of the old days, really, that we will never have back. Again, maybe not the best form of dirty racing, but it's a form of dirty racing we're never going to have back. We're never going to have that again, folks. We're never going to have those big pile-ups of a bunch of random cars ever again. It's sad, isn't it? What's also sad is there's whopping one name that I recognize in this entire field. One. Can y'all guess who that is? I mean, other than myself, obviously. But if y'all can guess who it is, then leave it in the comments and y'all get a free like on your comment. But anyway, I'm not doing the dandiest, but I guess I ain't doing the worst. I think we're closer to worse than best, but that's some of the joys of dirty shuffle racing as well, is the cars are by default equally matched, because that's what you get in shuffle racing. And that makes for the racing, well, pretty cotton picking good, and that makes for a pretty cotton picking big wreck, because all the cars are close. Even the Mira, which by far has the lowest top speed, is doing perfectly fine right now. In fact, it's even beating up on me a little more than my liking. Yeah, I could have gone a little bit better. But, well, as of now, I get charged through the pack with crazy amounts of draft. Draft has been overpowered in a lot of Gran Turismo games, but it seems like with shuffle racing it mattered that much more depending on what type of car you had. Dodge Vipers have a top speed of, technically, about 400 miles an hour, literally. 6 gears stretched out where you can literally go like 400 miles an hour, theoretically, if it could actually do that speed. So, okay, draft is really important in Vipers, because you can go as fast as you can possibly get up to via draft. There's really no max speed to a Dodge Viper. Hey, in my opinion, at least, that's a good thing. But anyway, another good thing is the battle for the lead right yonder. Oh, maybe? Give it a minute, folks. It'll get good pretty cotton pink quick. This is why I like this track for shuffle racing, and a lot of people like this track for shuffle racing, is pretty much the section coming up. You have to cut it to be fast, but it's very risky cutting it. Wait for it, folks. Wait for it, folks. Someone will wreck here, 100% chance. Who will it be? Not the leader. Let's go farther down the pack, because we can do this with the power of these. There you have it, folks. That's a wreck. Told y'all. As y'all can see there, you have to cut that section to go fast in dirty racing, but it's pretty caught picking narrow section. And this was just going on the lap 2. During the last lap, people are going to be that much more aggressive because that's the very last bit of the race. And it's one of the more technical bits right at the very end. All in all, this track kind of got overly used for dirty sulfur racing. The vast majority of dirty sulfur racing was done on this track. But again, as I said, at least from what I can remember, the majority of people that use sulfur racing is actually used with dirty racing. For me, that's a good thing. For others, well, if you're watching this video, it's probably also a good thing. Anyway, can it be a good thing for me? Right yonder. Okay then, it wasn't bad. The Viper's nice and all, but it's not four-wheel drive. That Audi has a slight bit more... Mira leading on the straight. What in the blue... Never mind. Never mind, folks. False alarm. Maybe. Maybe. Look at that save and a half, folks. I know I saved this race for a reason, but I couldn't remember why. I guess that might have been why. Well, that was a save and a half. I had my camera on myself for a reason near the end of the race, because I remember I save all these for a reason. I just don't save like every race I'm in. I only save the good ones. That might have been why I saved this particular one. Also, sulfur racing, you get random cars. Maybe I saved it because I was also on a Viper. It shows what spot you finished before you load up the replay, but I ain't gonna say, because that kind of spoils it. But anyway, as of now, I mean, I'd be fine finishing where I am, but I'm gonna attempt to finish, well, there. Where's everybody? There should be somebody else pretty much there. Give it a minute, folks. I think there might be a holy snikes coming up for somebody. No? Well, Jiminy Cricket, there's usually a whole heck of a heap of dive bombs there. I thought somebody was going to get the snikes knocked out of them, but for now, I'm just going to say just wait, folks. Just wait. Give it a minute, and it may very well come. May very well come. Maybe for me. Oh, for the mirror. Why does it seem like that mirror gains time on the straights? That's not how that's supposed to be. Mirror's supposed to gain time around the turns. But anyway, also, Gran Turismo 5 thing was the original car damage. Take that as y'all may, but doesn't really look any worse than Sport, does it? Sport is the real driving simulator, and supposedly that's their main goal, to make it as realistic as possible. Damage doesn't look that much better than it did in GT5 arcade dirty sulfur racing. But anyway, I think probably at this point I may as well put the camera on me for the rest of this because, well, I'm the one doing it. Let's see how the rest of this goes, folks. This is the final lap, and it's getting to about the final part of the race here. I need to go through a whole heck of a heap of cars, really cotton picking fast. That's one. Somebody's gonna dive bomb here. Let's see who. I think it's me. Yep. No, it's not. It was kind of me. I don't remember this race in the slightest, so this is all may as well be new to me. I don't remember any of it. But I do remember how sulfur racing goes in general, but I don't remember the specifics of each race. And Jiminy Cricket, I did not have the fanciest dive bomb there. That was done, I think that might have been a BMW, but I'm going to have to gain a whole heck of a heap, really caught being quick, even more than before. Granted, this last section could lead to a whole heck of a heap of stuff, and I assume it will, given the position I end up getting. I will say this, I ain't at that position right now. I ain't going to say what position that is, but it ain't what I am now. Wish me luck, folks. Yeah, that was some luck and a half. Now, because GT5 allows this to happen too, let's see what happened to the leaders, folks. We can do this. Let's see how the lead ended up, because we can. As of now, it's getting towards the end of the race, but now, let's see what happens with the leaders. This is on that back straight that's like after the main really long straight, but probably about the second longest bit of the track. And, well, y'all saw what happened to me. It wasn't the dandiest in the world. Let's see what happens with the leaders now. Because GT5 allows this to happen. Because GT Sport replays this kind of going in, unless you use the PSN capture thing. GT5, you actually have a little bit of like back up there. There's an end race sequence in which you have time to actually rewind if you want to. So anyway, let's see what happens with the leaders. As of now, this is the leader, and not much is happening. Now that's the leader, and not all that much is happening. I may as well stay on this car for now, because, well, it has a draft, and it has a whole heck of a heap of people that may mess it up. Yeah, that's close. Yeah, that's close. And you already saw there was a dive bomb and a half, not by me, near the end there. And, well, that driver got close, but not quite. That driver got close, but not quite. Can that driver get to the very end? I'm going to go ahead and say not quite. Jiminy Cricket, don't let a mirror win. Don't let a mirror win. Can't let a car that can only go 170 mile an hour win. That car might win, though. This car is a R6. Big SUV, good for dirty racing. That probably would be overall my pick if I wasn't Brandel. I mean, I'd always and forever a Viper no matter what, because not Brandel, just completely unbiased. But anyway, finish here. There's a finish. Y'all saw what happened to me. But this is what happens to everyone else. And, well, somebody got kind of screwed up there, but well, that was definitely a good race for the end there. I guess that one person that got wrecked, who was in second for that little bit, caused that whole big pile up that I was able to just drive through and go from like 7th to 4th at the very end. And the battle for first wasn't too bad either. And look at all the variation of cars, folks. That's a GTR that got third. GTRs are OP in this game like a whole heck of a heap of games. It was only third, though. Second is an Audi. The camera didn't change to it, but second is an Audi. First is another Audi, but it's, well, a station wagon. Which is completely different, folks. Dirty Suffolk Racing, again, I mean, it wasn't the greatest thing in the world, but it's a fact that we don't have it anymore. And I do sort of kind of miss it, and wish it would come back. I wouldn't use it every time I did dirty racing, but I would use it some. Because, well, it creates unique stuff that can't really be done by anything else. You get random cars, and you have to do as good as you can with those cars. And sometimes it can get for some absolute carnage, chaos, and overall craziness to happen. And that's always a good thing, ain't it, folks? This was as good a race as any. I did pretty caught picking good in a Viper. Lucky choice there. And I was able to capitalize and get 4th on, and even the battle for the lead was good as well. And that's most definitely worth a yeehaw. And if y'all want me to do more Gran Turismo 5 Specialtatin, I literally have about 500 Gran Turismo 5 videos. I'd say only about 100 of those involve online, but, I mean, y'all are at the channel right now, so y'all know how many Gran Turismo 5 videos I have. It's like 4, other than the Pig Flying Lap series. There's a lot of content out there, folks, for Gran Turismo 5, so if you want to see some of that, just say so, and I'll probably do it. I see no reason why not. There wasn't any leagues back then, but there was still a whole heck of a heap of dirty racing that could be just as fun as the leagues. Maybe. There was different types of arguments back then. Not involving leagues, but maybe just maybe involving some hot Subaruchis and some banging and slanging. Maybe. If y'all want that. That might be worth a yeehaw as well, if y'all know what I'm talking about. Yeehaw.